Hi, in this week's video, I'm going to be showing you the 8 worst things about this, the standard Peloton bike. But more importantly, I'll show you a couple of ways to get around at least a couple of those things. Let's get cracking. So number 1 is wait time. So you've done stacks of research, you've watched countless videos of middle-aged men wearing Peloton t-shirts, telling you how good it is, and you're ready to press the button. But when you go to order your bike, you see this. So currently there's a 5 to 9 week wait between you ordering your bike and your bike arriving. And that's down from a 12 to 14 week wait during the height of the pandemic. So it's really important to remember that this is an Amazon Prime we're dealing with here. You're not going to get this bike later today or tomorrow. You need to plan and remember that when you do finally decide to go for it, you're going to be waiting 1 to 2 months before your bike arrives. So the next annoying thing is that you can't pause a pre-recorded workout. So I understand if you're in a live class, it would make no sense to add a pause button to the live class. It's the live class after all. But when you're doing a pre-recorded workout, quite often the doorbell might ring, the kids might want something. It would be very nice to just be able to hit pause on that ride. So there are downsides to that in the fact that you could probably manipulate your position on the scoreboard. So you might ride really hard for 10 minutes, then put your feet up, have a 10-minute rest, get back on, do another really hard 10 minutes. So you would look you would get up the scoreboard a lot higher than you would do normally. But even if they just put something on there where you press pause and then the bike gives you a very clear message that by pressing pause, you forfeit your place on the leaderboard after the ride. It stays on while you're doing the ride, but you can pause your ride, do what you urgently need to do, probably just answer the door to the Amazon delivery driver who's delivered that thing that you didn't need, and then just get back on the bike and carry on your workout. The next annoying thing is that quite often they will purge rides. So what that means is they'll look back through their catalogue of rides, there's thousands of them, and they'll just get rid of a few hundred or a couple of thousand maybe, which is fine in itself. I understand that some of the content ages or Peloton have had problems with copyright on some of their music, the music they've used historically. But it does create a bit of a problem if some of your favourite bookmarked rides are then no longer there. Let me show you what I mean. So here's a 20 minutes new tracks ride I did recently. You can see my output and distance and calories, etc. So I can view this class and I can start the class again, and then when I start the class I can filter this ride to look at just me. So that means I can compare how I'm riding today with how I rode on the 16th of the 7th 2020, just to have like a head-to-head comparison of how well I'm going. I think this is one of the best features of Peloton, but if I look here through my personal records, I can see that my best 30-minute ride is this one with Jennifer Jacobs. So if you're new to Peloton, you might not even have heard of this lady, but this was my best output. I really, really enjoyed this ride. Now, if I click up here to view the class, you can see that it's gone. And that's because they've removed this class. That class was my personal best. I want it to be my benchmark to measure my performance, so I can ride against myself and see how well I can do now, but I can't. They've taken it away. Next is these Apple Earbuds. So I've made a whole video about this and how to resolve it, which involves spending some money. But the standard Peloton bike doesn't really work that well with Apple headphones, in my experience. This might just be this particular bike, but I think it's a wider problem. If you've got a standard Peloton bike and you're using Apple headphones, I'll be keen to know what your thoughts are as well. So when I use these with my phone, the volume on max feels like 10 out of 10 volume. When I use it on the tread, it's the same, it's really loud. On the Bike Plus, the same, really good. But what's 10 out of 10 on the phone, the tread and the Bike Plus is probably somewhere between a 6 and a 7 out of 10 on the standard bike. Now, I don't know why this is. There's plenty of fixes out there on the internet. I've tried them all and I've spent hours on this. I cannot get a decent volume level out of these on this bike. Next are the Scenic Rides. So you just click more, click on a Scenic Ride. Now, these don't seem to really reflect somebody cycling. Let's find one. So this one, for instance, this is a glacier rock ride. It very clearly says there 20 minutes cycling. And you can very obviously tell that this isn't a cycling ride. This is just some footage of a drone or a person, I don't know, just going around some scenery. It really doesn't reflect what a scenic ride, I think anyway, should look like. And I've actually been on a city scenic ride before where the camera just went up a flight of stairs. I'm thinking that's not a bike ride. This is just generic scenic footage. So this is just a point of view cycle ride that somebody's uploaded to YouTube. So if a person with a bike and a camera can make a good scenic cycle ride, which is actually a cycle ride, why can't Peloton? If you're enjoying this video and finding it useful, please hit the like button. I'd really appreciate it. This channel is about laid back home fitness and especially Peloton. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe as well. Now next is these, the water bottle holders. So I haven't got any shelves around my bike, so everything has to either go on the bike or on the floor. And although there are two water bottle holders, they're at a slightly funny angle. And if I take my Peloton water bottle, if it's full, and I put it in, you get that. The other thing is that most of us don't need two water bottle holders for a ride. One bottle of water is enough. So rather than have two, maybe the other one could be optioned, and that's just two screws there to hold other things, maybe a phone, an inhaler, or anything else you might need. Next is the handlebars. There's no adjustment in these for backwards and forwards. So this is the right position for me for the seat and my pedals and the length of my leg. But I do find that sometimes this gets a bit heavy here, especially on rides where you're here or here, for instance. And I find myself riding no-handed a lot of the time on the easier parts of the rides. It would be quite handy if Peloton would make an attachment here so that you could just bring these handlebars forward. So this I would prefer to be about here for me. Now there is a solution to this. If you go to Top Form Designs, that's Top Form Designs, they've got a device that fits here which allows you to move the handlebars forward and backwards. And lastly is the music. So before you start a ride, you can look at the artists that are going to be playing on that ride. But quite often it's not the song that you were expecting it to be. So if they're going to play a Britney Spears song, for instance, it won't be one of her really, really big hits. Quite often it'll be a song that you kind of half remember. I know they've had lots of problems with copyright over the last couple of years, but the music on here is good. I would say it's not great. Considering this is a premium product, I think it could be better. I've also got some reviews on Apple Fitness, and as you would expect, the music in Apple is just unbelievable. They've got some really, really good tunes. So it's not terrible, it's just about good. I think it should be better. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit the like button, and if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. And until next week, see you soon.